Well, look here, y'all just stay with me, and we're gonna go ahead and kick this thing off.
Okay. Well, you were recording it anyway, so
Oh yeah, we're good.
is this the first time you were going to do it live for your channel?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, no, I've done one Zoom meeting live before, and we had the same technical hooking up. So I'm doing something with sending out the invitations. I'll figure that one out.
Okay. And are you
All
using
right.
Zoom to connect to doing live?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know Zoom gave you ability to have a link to go live to YouTube, let alone Facebook. That's interesting.
Well, actually, I'm going through another program called OBS
Mm.
that takes me out to the stream, takes my
Okay.
stream out to the world.
Yeah, that's a middle software that lets you go to several different streaming applications that are out there.
Right. Right. So let's go ahead and jump it because actually we should be streaming live, or if not, it's recording somewhere. So why don't we go ahead and just move in and get into the program? First of all, like I said in the beginning, great to see y'all. It's been so long. I mean, Jesus, it's been a while. But before that, let's go ahead and kick the show off. If you're out there where you're listening and viewing, get ready. I'm your host. I go by the KCOG. That is the OG part is actually the opinionated grandpa. So y'all need to understand that. So the KCOG, you see the background back there. That is the skyline of Kansas City. I'm back home. Glad to be back home after 26 years up in Omaha. In fact, I met Imara in Omaha.
Yeah.
And I guess we started kicking it up there for a couple of years. And then I think you came back to Kansas City and then left Kansas City and went south.
And what again?
I think you left Kansas City and then went south.
Yes. We went past the Mason-Dixie line.
Yeah, there we go.
Too far past.
Yeah, too far past. Well, first of all, let's get caught up on a few things. How's life in Georgia?
Well, just like you've been seeing on TV, not well. I mean, they're suppressing the votes down here and trying to make sure that blacks have a hard time to be able to vote. I mean, Georgia ain't no joke when it comes to the Empire State, or when it comes to what they did history from before. So now, but hey, it's a struggle. Many ancestors did some great things down here. We're trying to leave a legacy as they left a legacy for us.
Well, I can understand that. There's been a lot of work that needs to be done, but actually, that's a whole thing. The show's not political. What we're here to talk about is actually, we're here to talk about Kevin Samuels this evening. And this is my side of it, is not criticism of Kevin Samuels, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes. But as far as the American political system, I have come to the conclusion it's completely corrupt. I don't think there's anything we can do at this time to actually make this system work for poor people in general. So I'm willing to go in another direction. But again, that's a whole nother show. Okay. Yeah. We don't want to get too deep into that.
Well,
we're
already
talking about
boot deep, but that's all right.
Well, I understand. And maybe you can give us some updates before we get offline tonight.
Okay.
Just to give us an idea of what's actually happening, since you're down there in the front lines of Georgia, and you know, border suppression has been passed in Florida, Georgia, Texas. They got some crazy type of protest laws that they're putting in place in Oklahoma and
you can
another
hit
state.
You can hit them with a car. It's okay.
Yeah. That's crazy. And to me, when society starts to approve these kind of laws, there's something very, very, very wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where we are right there. But again, before we get too deep into that, because I'll take you in a whole different direction on that. I'm serious. But Sharon, jump in there. Give me a little update on what. And actually, Sharon, I believe this is the first time we officially met face to face. I think when I knew you before, when I was in Omaha, we basically talked over the phone or through
Yeah,
audio.
through the blog talk.
Through the
Mm.
blog talk. Yes, yes, yes. So it's really great to see
Couple-
you
Uh,
and really get to meet
we
you.
were on his show first,
Oh yes,
and
when he was
then
when he was at Malcolm X Center.
yeah, and
Yes,
then he
yes,
Yes,
was
yes,
behind the
yes,
scenes
yes, yes.
of our blog talk
Oh
show,
yeah,
taking the
yeah,
journey.
yeah. Wow, I've
Yeah.
been long. I've been so many ventures, so many dimensions. I forgot.
Okay. Well, before we get too deep into that, then let's do this. Why don't you guys bring us up to date exactly what you guys are doing? I understand taking the journey is still there.
Mhm.
You are still doing some things in that area. Plus,
Well, taking the journey has actually had a little bit of an upgrade.
Mm.
As we
Hmm.
talk about upgrading relationships now, one of the things that we do a radio show on a local radio station called WRUU, and we have changed the name of it to Taking the Journey Together.
Yes.
And so this is the different version of uh, presenting the same necessary information. I, can
okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I was speaking to my wife. She just
Oh,
popped in to see where the stream was, and I was trying to let her know for whatever reason it's not streaming. But keep going, dear.
okay. And so we have also started doing some things like we're planning some retreats and some workshops, and we've started doing date nights where we help couples to get out of the house and get out of the immediate things that they have that are bogging them down and bogging their relationship down, and getting them to do something just a little bit different. And so that's our
Yeah,
date nights.
basically making sure that in your relationship you try to relate to one another
Mhm.
in the most fullness that in turn that you can do while you're living. That's pretty much what it's
Right,
talking. It's kind of like,
right.
man, if you're taking your time out and you're spending your time with this other individual, you might as well try to live to the fullest. Otherwise, why are you wasting their time?
Especially with
There you
COVID.
go. There you go. Oh yeah, I was going to mention that. That had to be a very tough task. You just rattle off with the 2020 we had last year. I mean, really, everybody I believe wants to forget 2020.
Yes, yes, everybody does. A lot of relationships, push come to shove, got to see exactly what they were made of
Mhm.
because you are in the
Hmm.
process of seeing yourself and that other person every day. Where before you work with kids,
Hours and
so you don't have a
hours.
chance to be able to see each other. So basically, if you didn't have a good foundation with one another, you're gonna find out during that time either that facade you play in, outside the house, that game is going to hold up or most
Hmm.
likely it's going to break and crack,
Mhm.
and you're going to have some problems
Yes.
in the inside from that end. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I can definitely understand that. And I just realized I forgot to do one very important thing, and that was my lighting. But I'm lucky enough to have I guess enough decent lighting to get through this right now. But
See,
we'll
well,
leave it like it is and keep on going. Okay. Uh,
you got that shade and that hat on, bro. Come on now.
a lot of times I have to wear the shades when I do this type of broadcast because of the lighting. It interferes with one of my eyes, and that
Hold up,
causes
brother. You from
a very
KC?
strange look.
You said OG, so we don't have to say anymore, man.
Mhm.
Come on now.
That's all it is right there. But let's go ahead and dive into Kevin Samuels a little
Okay.
bit. I'm gonna go ahead and lead off the conversation if you don't mind.
Mm.
Um, Actually, Kevin Samuels was brought to me by one of my grandsons. Other than that, I have not heard of Kevin Samuels. So since my grandson was so infatuated with this man and was following this man, especially on Friday nights, uh, one time he was over here at the house and we just literally sat there and put Kevin Samuels on YouTube on the TV. And we sat there and watched this show together. Now, I
Mm.
have since tuned in and caught a few other episodes, but by all means, I have not become a Kevin Samuels fan. Let's be clear there. There's some things I'm seeing, but anytime you're starting to make money on YouTube, you got to realize that the main factor that's going on at that point is to keep those likes and subscribes going so that you keep that income flowing from YouTube. And I begin to see the commercialization of that with his program. But do keep in mind, Kevin Samuel's been at this for a minute, not necessarily in the form it is now. I mean, I went back and saw a video of him 6 years ago and thought he was an absolute nerd. He was doing things about how to dress and about fashion and the little thing with the cologne and shoes and how a man should style and groom. And that's the thing, that's where he started. And I think as he started to figure out he was developing a brand on YouTube, he kind of morphed into the production that he's doing right now. And my understanding that the man got extremely lucky and got a caller to call in, and the exchange just went viral. And that's what put the man on the map. So do I think Kevin Samuels and the things he's saying and doing has some value? Some. But I think what he's doing right now is making money more than anything else. Okay, that's where I am on Kevin Samuel. So with that, I'm gonna let you guys chime in.
Well, you kind of stole a little bit of my thunder, brother. You did that.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, I just remember you and Paul would try to do that all the time.
Oh man, now don't bring up those days.
You know, Paul, I ain't gonna go into deep, but Paul called me not too long ago. Remember I told you that? He's supposed to come down to see me. Yeah. Hopefully your brothers will take your time out to come down and see me at least once in a while. You are welcome down south. You are. I mean, it's still open. The gates are still open. You can come down.
Okay, well that's true. And I tell you, if Paul makes that track down there, I'll do my best to be with him.
That'd be cool. But Kevin Samuel is a dating specialist. He's like a male image consultant, personal shopper, wardrobe and image makeover man for all companies. His image is kind of like a consultant guru. He used to be a chemical engineer. He attended the University of Oklahoma from 87 to 1991. He also worked at Office Depot. He's originally from Oklahoma City and is currently based in Atlanta, Georgia. That's how that is. So he typically has sayings like, in today's world, which is an ultra competitive, hyper connected, and more image conscious than ever, within the first few seconds of meeting someone new, you form a lasting impression of you. That's one of his big statements that he kind of spits out there. He also has his thing, and I guess a lot of people feel, as you just got through saying, the opinion of this brother is that he's rich. He stays rich by playing off of many Black women and Black men's insecurity in the dating world. I mean, that's monetizing. He's worked to that point to understand that this monetizing this way is how you do the thing in technology. I'm not mad at him from that end, because I work with a lot of younger guys down here in Savannah outside of our relationship thing that we do, but a big event we do in River Street for the last 6 years ever before, and tourism attraction. And I meet a lot of young guys that work with me on the stage, and they're always talking about, man, you got to monetize things. Man, you got to make sure you're going to make some money off it. Bottom line, exactly. It's all about getting paid. So he's at least conscious enough to understand that what he did, putting together the product, putting together this idea about relationship, it's getting him money. He's making good money from what we see. Sadly to say, my last one before I turn it over to Sharon to what she feels, because woman's point of view is obviously important since we're talking about relationship. Ladies, he says, ladies, make a list of your perfect man. Then make a list of the type of woman he would need to be on his side. Focus on becoming her. It's almost similar to what's his name that made the book called Act Like a Man, Think Like a Woman? No. Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. Who was that? Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey, yeah.
You didn't read his book
I did not. I I don't know. I don't see a comedian really having a whole lot to say about relationships seriously. It's, the whole nature of his byline is comedy, not taking
Yes.
anything seriously. So I I
Yes.
I just couldn't get behind him in his all of a sudden I know so much about relationships. I just wasn't buying it.
Well, yet I think Kevin's point is valid only from the standpoint of this is coming from my point of view as an individual black male, an older black male, even at that. But even at that, there are other males that have the same feeling. And he is quantitating his black maleness. He puts it under the guise of being a higher qualified male. I think that's the word he wants to use. Is a higher
High quality.
your high quality
High
male.
quality.
So he's talking about males who are professional, who are probably making over $70,000, six figures, running their own companies. That's right. There are black males out there that exist. I know, being in the IT world, I've met many of them. They exist.
Right.
So
Right.
it's their mentality of how they feel a woman should relate to them if they're going to be in a relationship, because they got all this other privilege that's going on in their life. And if they can't rise to that level where I'm at, then nah, it ain't happening. I mean, that's pretty much what I got out of that, right?
Yeah, and most of the time, you know, for whatever reason, they don't connect anyway. The men that are making that kind of money and the women that are making that kind of money, and what ends up happening is black women start dating down, start marrying down. So it's like I'm this high professional, and I will marry someone who. I've got all these years of college and degrees, and I'm paying student loans for the next 35,000 years, and I'm going to marry someone who barely made it out of high school, has no concern about education, and making ends meet, but that's about it. But that's okay. I'm gonna be happy with this person, um, and so that marrying down is not the good thing to do.
Hold
It's
on for a second.
yes.
Wow, that almost sounds like me. You're professional.
Oh.
So
You
are
got
you,
4 years of college. You make more money than
Oh.
me,
and
and I'm beneath you. Oh my God, it sounds like me.
not even.
Oh.
Not even, because see, and that's where the problem comes in when
Oh,
you're
hey,
dealing.
hold on for a second.
Because
Hold on for a second. So, Jose, Carlos, did you see the sister go ahead and come up? Did you see it
Yeah.
raise
Oh.
up before it was all cool?
like,
All
no.
of a sudden, they come. You can see the OJ head start moving. That's funny.
She was making a very good point. She was making a very good point, though.
Okay, so I will listen since I'm below you now.
You are
Since you
not, and
dated
see,
down and
and see,
got me.
and see, that's the thing,
What?
because there are some women who do that and don't have a problem with that.
Uh-huh.
Personally,
What's that?
I dated up.
Oh, really?
I dated up
Oh,
because
are
it's
you recording this, bro? You recording
Yeah,
this? Okay,
I
so you have
got
to
it.
send it to me so I can play it
I
back.
heard it too.
So, you heard it too?
I
All right, I
I
got
heard
it.
it too.
and the reason I say I dated up is because, yeah, I have a 4-year degree and stuff, and you have a degree,
Look at you.
and so what I'm
She
saying
said,
is,
"Yeah, you got it. Degree.
yeah, but you do, and
What is it?
but it's a bachelor's degree.
Of what?
It has
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
it has to do with
Benny and the Jets. You told
Oh
it
him.
has to
boy.
do it has to do
You
with
told him it all.
technology, computer
Yeah, I know
technology.
it's that computer stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, you're close
I
enough. I'll
just
let
don't
you
know
go.
what it's called.
I'll let you
Yeah,
go
I
on
don't
that
know
one.
exactly what it's called. That's where I was trying to go, and I was like, I don't know what that's
yeah.
called. But but the
What?
thing of it is, when you get away from the college and the
Mm-hmm.
degree and the this and the what do you do type of question,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the problems that people have is when they start off meeting each other. It's what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
live life to the fullest should be the answer, as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
I work for a Fortune 500 company. Well, if you don't own that Fortune 500 company, what difference does it make? You can get fired tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
But
uh,
but and I've talked about this before, and I know that I've even talked with Carlos about this sometime
mhm,
before, because this has always been a passion of mine.
yeah,
Is we many times will come in and bring our ambassador when we first meet
hmm
each other. We ambassador
Mm-hmm.
that looks the best, that dresses the best,
Mm-hmm.
that smells the best.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we go back home, we're like, who was that anyway? We hired. And so when we do that ambassador thing the first time we relate to
hmm
one another, that does happen. And sometimes that image of dressing up and dressing down don't mean anything. Because
Right.
someone could come in and dress in they a bum at home, but you don't know it because they're dressed and looking a
Yeah.
little good. It could
Yeah.
be vice versa.
Mm.
And a lot of people that have gone through multiple years of school come out as educated fools.
Yeah, that happens.
Right.
So
All right, that does happen.
Talk to me, talk to me.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. But she brought up some very interesting point, and I'm going to add to that. When it seems like when they do find success on either side, male or female, when they do find that success and they're making that six-figure income, it's very rarely, if they're single, that they marry within the race. Generally, they're marrying down. Well, I shouldn't say married down, but generally outside of melanated people, they are marrying. I'll put it like that. And to me, that's a problem because you can't really build wealth if the wealth is being ciphered off by other folks, if you know what I mean. I mean, I'm not saying anything negative. All I'm saying is when you're in a relationship or even when you're in a marriage, it's you're making money, she's making money. If y'all split, we're seeing it going on right now with Bill and Melina Gates. When you split, she gets part of that money. So when you got that kind of thing going on, it makes it very hard to build wealth as well. But here's the thing that I'm getting back to Kevin Samuels. His term of high value men, and that there's something about that just doesn't sit right with me, because I believe all people are high value. When you look at them as being people and human first, I'm not talking about their titles, how much education they have, how much money they have, what their position is. I'm not talking about all that. I'm talking about what is your character? Who are you as a person? You know, when you deal with people on that level, then you're talking about high value being, I would say instead of high value, I would say highly moral person is what I would value. I have problems with that term.
I don't think he's referring to value from a religious or spiritual point of view, which is belief systems that start from within and how you express yourself on the outside. He's talking about from the outside. He's an image consultant. He's not an inner consultant. He's an image consultant. So your image and how you project yourself and express yourself to someone else is what he's good at and what he's pushing. So from that monetized point of view, there's no doubt about it. If even what you just got through saying goes right along with them. If one person in the relationship is not making money and that one's making money, then that person's got to be siphoning from the other person. And so therefore, monetized wise, we ain't gonna do well when it comes to partnering when you put 1 + 1 = 2. So yeah, don't want to get involved with that. And that's pretty much how it goes from the outside, not necessarily inside whatsoever.
What I'm saying is
that's agreeing with you, but
less,
it's agreeing with you too at the same time, by the way.
well, I appreciate that, because what I'm really saying is that I cannot separate. See, when you do that, you're separating people into classes, if you ask me, because what he's calling a high value person, he's talking about people making more than 80, 90, 100,000 a year. And if they are lucky enough to make six figures, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And to me, not everybody can get on that level. Now, we can all do a good job of fronting on that level. I mean, we're all from the hood. How many times you done seen the Cadillac or the Lincoln brand new sitting down the street, and the car costs more than the house he's living in? We done seen it before. I'm saying we know how to front. That's not what I don't believe. To me, that's a value we should be pushing at this point, is what I'm saying. I'm saying rather than for him to push this high value thing, why don't we do something different and change it up a little bit? Because again, to me, now, if you're going to play that game, even on the dating scene, now, how many people can date on the level that he's talking about? Be for real.
Well, for his side is because I've listened to him more than once because I didn't believe he even existed and how he could
Mhm.
exist. So I had to listen to see this brother. I know there's some things I agree with him with. There's just no doubt about it, but a lot of things I don't. For him, he doesn't necessarily also present and say all high value men are only available to women. He's basically saying all high dollar men that do exist are wanting higher valued women. But he will say men who had a lower value, me, okay, all right, and should be good enough for a woman like her. No, okay, a higher value woman. In fact, one time he talked
Mhm.
about to this one particular woman who basically gave her spiel. He asked her size, asked her, where she came from, looked back her past, and we found some things that were kind of malignant and that was and not balanced and yada yada yada. He said, "So why do you think you're better than that garbage man? I mean, I don't
Mhm.
understand how you thought you're better than this garbage man. I mean, period. He's working, he makes money, and how your family is. You got two baby daddies. You basically are leaving your kids many times latchkey and all that other stuff. He's talking about the moral end now. We're talking about an inside thing,
Mhm.
and yet your attitude is, I can't deal with no man who does garbage. He's not good enough. I have to have that money thing when it comes to value. He said, no, I don't understand that. So there is that side that he does push when
Yeah.
it comes to women who give that perception that I'm better, and they even
Mhm.
try to use an outside image, but yet their image is, as you were just saying too, they fronting too.
And
Right.
that's the thing that I think people don't pay attention to, is when he say high value men, he is talking about men who value their position and their money, and these are women who value money above everything else, who are
Mhm.
looking for these men that they're not ready for. They're not
Yeah,
ready for that lifestyle because they haven't had the exposure or the training to be in that lifestyle.
yeah. But in fact, my wife and I were discussing
100%
before
on
this.
point.
We used to call him. You still can call him now. What should we call him? Call him, Sharon. Talk.
Gold diggers.
No, that's the
Yeah.
that's the street term, sister. You ain't
Okay.
from no street.
No.
No, they're called trophy wives. Come
Trophy
on now.
wives.
Trophy
Okay.
wives. Yeah. Well, same thing.
Come on
Same
now.
Yeah.
thing.
Please don't
Yeah.
play.
Well, that's
That's what we're
part of the
talking about.
conversation.
Yeah, I know.
But that's an art that's going on, and again, that's a class thing, because when you're
Mhm.
dealing on the everyday, like me and you, and the way you met Jan, the way I met my wife. I met my wife from when we were dating in high school, and we
Mhm.
hooked up all them years ago. I was just explaining to my sons, um, in years, I probably know my wife about 50 years now.
Mhm.
I mean,
Congratulations.
that's about how long I know him.
Mhm.
And trust me, that you're taking a journey together makes sense, because that's exactly what that was through all these years. Now, when I'm saying when you're dating on our level, the advice he's given, I don't see how it's applicable. I don't see how you can apply that to the average Joe that's trying to date. Now, I get it. He's telling the average Joe, okay, clean yourself up, stand yourself up, have a little style about yourself. And if you don't have the big bucks, represent like you do. Okay. Make sure you're not dating too far up the ladder. Stay within your zone. Okay. And at the same time, if you're looking for a wife, grab her while she's young. That's what I hear.
I've
I
never heard him say
I
that, even though
didn't
that
either.
that was good. You may
Yeah.
want to continue your show that way, my
Yeah.
brother. But that ain't
I
what he
will.
would say
I
whatsoever.
Mm.
He would really point to that there are women who are shooting too high when it comes to them trying to get a high
Mhm.
value man, and so
Right.
therefore they need to go with, as you said, somebody extra, someone just a
Yeah.
common brother, someone is just
Yeah.
like you and me. That's pretty much what he would recognize. He would say, "Am I right so far?"
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's
I
what he
feel
would
like
say.
he says that the average guy should just, stay wherever he is, deal with life as it is, and maybe one of those women that want the high value man
Well, come to the
will
census
exactly will
and
come to her
understand you ain't gonna
senses
get that.
and settle
And
for
come
one of
Exactly.
for one
them.
of them.
I don't think he really has time for the average guy.
No,
I don't think
no,
the
No, he
average guy
doesn't.
no,
is in his
Well,
repertoire.
no,
he
no.
called, wait a minute, what did he call? He called us, well, he's an alpha, so what's the other one? Beta. That's what he calls, if you
Yeah,
ain't an alpha, you're a beta.
Exactly.
Beta male.
That's true.
Okay.
That's,
And see, and I'll tell anybody that's following that, look here, you might think I'm a beta, but don't with me. All right. Then you'll see the alpha in me.
well, I mean, even at that, I never got into that much
I
until
didn't either.
one young brother presented that to me down here. There
Yeah.
there are those who are doing well running their businesses, because I've met some brothers who have 6-figure salary. They're not necessarily beta at all. In fact, they're nerd as a mug. I can't cuss, I know, on your show, because I would if I want to, but I'm not going to. I said I was going to stop doing that. But anyway, they nerd as a mug, bro. They nerd. So what they kind of have is, and I told them to my wife, they're kind of jealous because all those other guys who weren't nerd like were getting the girls, the good looking ones. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So now that they make all this money power, they were like, man, I sure wish I could get that girl. I couldn't do that. Now I want to give it a try because she looked good on my shoulder with all this money now. You know what I'm saying? And so
Well, yeah, but
basically,
don't forget what I said earlier about how Kevin Samuels marked, because what you're describing right now is my first impression of him when I saw one of his older videos. It's like, this cat's a nerd.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
But anyway, go ahead. I just wanted to
No,
bring that point.
I'm just saying we were in a new arena. The same way that we grew up is not the same way the young guys are thinking right now. There are many young guys who are about monetizing, making money, and they are about concentrating on that grind, period. And they're looking for that woman who's going to reach to that level, or if they're there, they're going to have that woman that comes to that level. And I'll be honest with you, on the flip side, man, I knew of many of the other culture that rolled like that, and that's the women they look at. Can we look at the last president and give an example? I mean, serious. Come on now. And I remember the days, and Sharon and I were talking about that, where they used to have catalog women.
Yeah.
From Japan,
Now
from
they,
Philippines, from Russia.
Now they have moved it to the internet. They still have them. They've just moved it to the internet.
Exactly.
That's true. That's very true. But what I'm actually getting at, and overall with the whole thing that Kevin Samuels is doing, and don't get me wrong, I think a lot of what he's telling these women is absolutely correct, especially if you step into them and you, let's say you are a hood rat, but you want to marry a millionaire. Let's get real. It don't go down that way. And if it does, trust me, you one of the lucky ones. All right. Now you don't watch too many. What's that? Pretty in Pink or whatever. You don't watch too many of them movies that where the something ends up that good at the end. I just don't get it. Overall, I think he is catering to a whole different class of folk. I think even though the people that called in are lower class than he would put himself, because he considered himself a high value man, I take it.
Oh yeah, he did.
Then these women that are, and I've heard him tell women many a time that they don't fit the bill, they're average, danger zone.
Yeah.
Come on. Well, and I get it, because I have 6 sisters. All right. And out of 6 sisters, now this I'm in my 60s, well in my 60s, out of 6 sisters, only 2 of my 6 sisters are currently married. At one time, it was 4 out of 6. Okay. So you can see just in that little example, in my world, I'm seeing a decline in women who are willing to stay in unhealthy relationships, which that in itself is the real problem, is that we have too many people jumping into relationships, in my humble opinion, for the wrong reasons.
Yes. Yes. No doubt about it. And there is nothing that we're saying because we push a thriving relationship. We always have this saying, we're going to relate. It doesn't make a difference what your mom says, doesn't make a difference what your daddy says, doesn't make a difference, religion, what Jesus said. We're going to relate. But we always want to push that when you relate, at least try to relate in a friendship way. Even though we know, come from old school, you marry your lovers and not your friends, and opposite attracts. We find that friendship being a good basis is what can last for a longevity time when it comes to a relationship. Kevin's not talking about that, man. I mean,
No.
that's not.
Say that one more time, bro. Say that
The-
one more time.
You mean the last part?
Yes.
Kevin's not talking about that, man. That's not what he's talking about. That's
Yeah,
not a concern.
yes, and that's kind of where I'm going. Exactly. It's like, I think with his success, that he would do the society better if he brought that down a little bit to deal with just us everyday folks and these young
That ain't
people. I
gonna
mean,
happen, man.
look, man.
He says he's a specialist in his field. He's monetized it, and there are enough of his clients out there that will keep him moving. I hear he makes over a six-figure salary, if not more than that, and what he's doing. So he ain't going backwards. That ain't gonna happen, man. And there are
Well,
many young brothers that I talk to who fly to I forgot the new place that they're flying to now to pick up women over there who say they treat them more like men, and then tired of African American women here in America. In fact, there's a new place they flew to. Before it was
Brazil is
Brazil.
one
No,
of
no,
them.
Brazil's not now.
Not
There's a
anymore?
new one. In fact, there's a
Mm.
there's a Facebook group that's called Black Men That Travel. I got part of it because I'm always keeping in touch when it comes to relationships to keep on the cutting edge. And so they travel these different places
Wow.
looking for a comfortable place for a Black man at that level, at that concept. Many valued men Black men who feel that I can get what I want, how I want it, even when it comes to a Black woman. And these are the places we're going to go to get Black women or women who are going to submit to that kind of concept. So it ain't turning around, man.
And
It ain't
you
turning
also
around.
have to
It
take
ain't.
into consideration
It's
that
not.
his base, or the people that he pandered to,
Mhm.
are between the ages of 25 and 35 for the most part, because he usually says, if you're 38, you're over the hill for this
Mhm.
type of man.
Mhm.
And this is the
Right.
generation.
He's over 35. He's
Oh
in his
yeah,
40s.
yeah.
He is.
And this is the well, that's for women.
Yeah.
For men, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
that
you're
big of a
right. Yeah,
deal.
thank you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
right there.
And
Yep.
and this is the generation that it's all about money.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's pandering to the fact that, older men, or men period, want a younger woman
Mm-hmm.
that has a certain look,
Mm-hmm.
and women
No
want
kids.
no kids, no
None allowed.
kids.
Yep.
Women want, somebody that can keep them, in a situation where they can get their nails done, they can get their hair done, they can get, they can get all the fancy pampering that,
Mhm.
according to them, makes the world go round, when bottom line is money makes the world go round, as that old song used to say. And so
Mhm.
that's his base.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that he is focusing on. And he's telling them exactly what they want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And the women who call in to his show, they know the truth, and they know what he's going to say when they call in. The bottom line is, it's kind of like all those other talk shows that used to be on TV a long time ago. It's just moved from the television station to YouTube or wherever. The
Mhm.
thing of it is, they're just hoping that maybe, just maybe, somebody will see them on there, and they will have their opportunity to at least go out to dinner with somebody at a fancy restaurant.
Oh
You know,
my
it's
God. I'll make you famous.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. It's to me, it's an extension of love and basketball.
extension of Maury Povich.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying to you, I'm giving you the future right now. It's not
You're right.
going to turn around. You're going to see more than this.
Yeah.
You're going to see
Yeah.
I heard there's a sister that competes with him on that level, from women who say, I don't have to deal with certain Black men, if none at all, and I can deal with any other man I want to. And they travel around too. It ain't turning around. I'm sorry. It's just
No,
not
it's
going
not.
to. It's not going to.
But to me, all of that, the bottom line to it to me is, all of that is an elitist attitude. And one of the biggest problems we have in this world is elitism. And I'm not going to go too deep down that rabbit hole either, but that's another issue that I have with
Me
Kevin
generation.
saying,
Me generation. Yeah.
now-
About
now,
me.
I'm gonna bring up two more, then I'm gonna throw it back at you real quick.
Mhm.
You don't see the likes are not half of the people that are viewing him, and he blacks out his screen and plays this crazy music until the likes come up to where he wants them.
Yeah.
and then he'll continue the show. I have literally seen this man do that in the middle of his show just because he checked the likes and didn't like where they were. And he did that. Now, to me, that's a certain type of training that he's doing there. And again, to me, it leads to elitism. You know, I am so popular, I am so good, you do as I say, or else I just stop this program until you do as I say. That's the way I see it.
Well, no doubt about it, brother. But you know, as some young folks say, don't hate. What to say after hate? Participate. Because now he's got some girlies coming up. They're nice looking girls too. And they doing at least at this time, they ain't doing no booty wop or any, what's the other one? Twerking. But now he flashes them up and they do a dance thing with some lyrics that are like, man, he's like pushing it. That brother's like taking it to another level. He's going to be an example for I thought some young guys would have did this a long time ago. Really, I'll be honest with you, as savvy as they claim they are when it comes to the internet world. He is the trailblazer in this area. You're going to see more. Watch and see. I won't be surprised he'll be on BT. I won't be surprised he'll have his own TV show pretty soon. There's just no doubt. You know, he was debating not too long ago with Dr. Umar Johnson. I watched a debate with him with Dr. Umar, and they were going back and forth. Dr. Umar's all about, sisters of the queen and the queen of this divine and all that other good stuff. And he was like, excuse me, you got 2 children out of wedlock, and we don't know what your school is about. I mean, they were going back and forth.
Which to me is very hypocritical, because he's always talking about being this type of man that doesn't lower yourself to that level, and being such an upstanding person. And the minute he got the opportunity to sling shade, he did.
Well, he did it his own way. He didn't get on Umar too much. I kind of respect Dr. Umar, really I do. But then he went into that spiel from that end. But hey, I'm saying too, that brought his ratings up. He knows how to play that. But it's not like Dr. Umar don't know it too.
Oh, of course.
I'll make you famous.
And
that's one of the things that Dr. Umar does well. He wants to keep his face and name out there. He does that extremely well. And to me, they're both kind of controversial to me. But to get back to Kevin Samuels, I do want to preface everything I said by saying this. Definitely, he's a pioneer. For him to cut through, as Roland Martin would say, and get the type of hits. He had that video that went to almost 1 million hits. That's what put him on the map. Because this exchange he had with this one particular female just went viral. And that put him up there. And if you could find that video, it was his highest rated video that he's done. And I think it had over 1 million hits to it. And so I wish him all the success in the world. You cannot take that away from him. The man has paid his dues. He has worked at this for like I said, about 6 years. He has developed his brand. He has developed the show so that he is getting the ratings that he is getting. And yes, I totally agree that you're going to hear more great things from Kevin Samuels. So what I'm saying in doing all that is a way that we can do that to lift the young people up as well. Not just put them in a category to say, hey, I am only speaking to those that has that ability to be a high value person, whether male or female, because he deals with a lot of high value females as well. So my point is that the whole thing to me, if he could take that fame and fortune and turn it into something that will, like having you and Sharon on this program to talk about relationships, to bring it down to the majority of the people that can use that type of advice, especially since he has so many young people that are tuning into his program.
Well, and I was going to say to you that there's no doubt about it. The choices in caviar. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see some. The caviar not the caveat,
Caveat.
the caveat of a cafeteria approach in life, meaning the power of choices, is what we have to present to our young folks. Two of the young folks that we work with now has said to me more than once, the problem is that you old guys, and not women, they always say, oh guys, didn't because we don't have too many fathers around. So we know that. I came out without a father in my family. And so I'm a fatherless father and a fatherless son. So they basically say, you guys didn't pass on to us that knowledge. You know, I always say back to me, yeah, that's partly true, but I'm doing it right now. So what you gonna do? But anyway, I understand that concept. So that means the caveat means we who feel we have another way through our experience in different areas of life, like we're doing with relationships, living a life that we experience, and at the same time giving back that as hopefully relationship coaches. It's our responsibility when you have that to give that back to the world. And so hopefully by giving that back to the world, someone's going to listen. Someone's going to make that choice. And then in turn, make that choice in life. Then they live their life with that other person. And then they can take that journey together. But that's something them two have to make that decision to do. Just as I and Sharon have to make the decision, not every day, because sometimes we're like, we're gonna make this happen. But there's some days we're like, I don't know about this. Seriously, I don't know about that. But I mean, but that's keeping it real. That's keeping transparent. That's keeping what we call hot. How open, honest, open, and transparent. That's what hot is. And this was what we want to try to give to our young folks, especially because many of them still at least have that kind of foundation of friendship. And I believe that will take them in the long run through all kinds of ups and downs of life they're going to go through, even when they run out of the money, or if they could be like I'm not going to mention his name because I've met him before, but they could come up and be very successful in life, but yet be lonely as can be in the relationship, because that does happen. That's not going to change. Money hasn't changed that in that area whatsoever. They just don't know that right now, but one day they might run into it. And so this kind of information they could do, like they said of the old preacher, they could put it in the freezer, and one day they may have to open it up, and we're doing some good. Hey, by the way, on that note, we'd like to have them go one time to our website called takingthejourney-together.com. That's taking the journey together.com. There you'll get some information that have to do with what we're doing, what we're focused about, what we're trying to bring balanced relationships, and our date night that we have going on, and plus our retreats going to be doing at campsites. This is some exciting things that you can get involved with your wife or your significant other, one or ones. That's more than just sitting down watching TV, more than just taking care of kids, more than going to the job, hitting the bar and coming back home. This is trying to live fulfilling the fullness of your life by sharing it with that other person in life. That's what it's all about. Love is about sharing your life together. If you're making that choice to be in a relationship. Exactly. Yeah.
And I bet you guys should have made a whole lot of money in 2020 when folks had to be at home locked up with each other. Oh my God, I have never heard so much craziness in my life as folks living in the same house only to find out they don't like each other.
Yep. Exactly. We're still seeing that the recovery of coming out of COVID is getting people a chance to, sadly say, because how you were before that, and then it amplifies. So again, I'll use the word push come shove, show exactly what you made of. When that stress begins to release, if you don't do anything to try to take care of that stress, you'll fall back to your old ways. So as supposedly the virus in turn subsides because of the vaccine and all that stuff and herd mentality, whatever you may want to call it, and it goes back to what they call normal or new normal, you're going to find that those who are having a stressful problem are the ones who never try to do anything about it. They're going to fall back to their old ways, and it will keep on rolling.
Yes, but I do appreciate you guys taking the time out to join me this evening. I really enjoy the conversation. You guys give some more information on as to where they can get up with you and Sharon on all your ventures, because I know it's more than just the taking the journey together, but go ahead and take a minute and give that information to the listeners.
Well, taking the journey together on the web at takingthejourney takingthejourney-together.com. That's takingthejourney-together.com. Facebook is TTJ Together. Facebook.com/TTJ Together. And we're on Instagram, Instagram.com, Taking the Journey Together, Taking the J Together. So, and our email, you can reach us at ttjt@takingthejourney-together.com.
We are still doing Unity and Community. It's an organization that's all about trying to reach out to the community and bring some kind of unity if all possible. One of the things we focus on is youth education and I would say bringing and creating events, positive events as we can within the community. As we said before, for the last 6 years, we too have been the only African-American organization in Savannah, Georgia, on River Street over Soccer's Plaza to do a actual large arts and craft event, tourist event down there. We can't do it now because of COVID. So we also are doing things in the community in Richmond Hill. In fact, we did the first 2019 Martin Luther King parade ever in Richmond Hill, Georgia. And we really, in turn, enjoyed that. Something that we felt very strongly was a historical event that we had to do, or at least the ancestors pushed us that way. We still do something in a smaller subcommittee group called the Falcon Group, which is all about vision, preservation, and in bringing what is it? Exposure, history of exposure to the African Americans who are very crucial in the building of this city in Richmond Hill itself. So those are the things that we're involved with. I think we're getting ready to start a new.
Some of the things we do reaching out are
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
We do history programs where the people, the Black people who have been here forever get the elders, they get to tell their stories. And we also do drive-in movies
Oh, I forgot about
for
that.
A couple of communities that are
Disenfranchised,
underrepresented and disenfranchised.
And what are you doing at school, Sharon, that's just great at school right now?
I am, next school year, I am going to be teaching African-American literature under the heading of multicultural literature. It's the first time
ever.
It's the first class in Georgia to teach African-American lit.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And
Congratulations.
out of all that, we, as you see us, there's no Superman cape on her. She doesn't have a big Superwoman, I don't know, a thing in front of her. We are everyday common African-American people who believe, though we back in the 60s and 70s too, that mentality, but still, we still believe in giving back to the world, that we were created on this world for the purpose to give back to the world and speak what we can, our truth, to power to at the same time.
And also one other thing that we forgot to mention is that we on YouTube, we have a YouTube channel where we do walk talks.
Oh yeah.
And that's where we walk, and as we're walking in these various places that we go to visit when we're on trips and different things like that, or just in the neighborhood, we talk about different things that deal with relationships and different topics along those lines.
Exactly. And you could do all these things when you're over 60. We are over 60. I'll say it again. We are over 60. This is a second life. We can do that. I'm saying you can do that. There's no excuses. We have interviewed older people here who are 87.
Yes.
Otis is 87. He's still driving his car. I went over his house 2 days ago. He told me, I'm eating this morning. Come back another time. So you can still do this.
Right on for that. But one other thing before we go, because I've been putting this out on Facebook, trying to get some conversation and still haven't developed that conversation. Have either one of you seen the movie Antebellum?
No, we have not.
Antebellum, check it out. I think it's on, if you have Prime Video, it's playing on Prime.
I've heard about it. We just haven't watched it.
No, I watched The Godfather of Harlem, man. I'm sorry.
No. The reason why I'm saying that, and I'm not trying to, you got to see the movie to understand this question. Why did they make this movie?
Oh, I heard
Yeah.
about people were not happy about that horror thriller.
Yeah.
I heard about that on who's the brother, young brother called God on that morning show, The Breakfast
The
Club.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, he didn't like that movie.
Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, he was talking about that movie, when and why it was made. Yeah, I just pulled it up on the internet too real quickly, but no,
Yeah,
I never saw it.
and now that I see this, that's why I never watched it, because it didn't make sense to me. I think it takes place in
Before the war,
during
Civil War.
enslavement.
Mhm.
Well, that was a horror enough. We don't need to add to it.
Yeah, but there's still Underground Railroad that's open right now, and we know the Underground Railroad was made here, and so I don't know why. I mean, come on now.
Hold up. It
But it's-
goes deeper than that. You
Mhm.
have to see the movie in
Okay.
order to get that aha moment and say, what the is
Mhm.
going on here?
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. Hopefully, the next time you and I and you guys and I get a chance to sit down and chat, we can discuss that movie, because to me, in this day and age, there was no reason for that movie to be made, none whatsoever. I'm not going to say much more because I'll give away the plot, and the plot is what the problem is.
Yeah. Well,
That's
they say
what
it's
I'm
not
saying.
based on a news. They say it's not based on a true story anyway.
Well, who knows? Just when you get a chance, see if you can see the movie. And I think there's one of the trailers on YouTube that gives the plot away a little bit, but I can't remember which trailer on YouTube did that, because if you was to pull it up, it brings up like 7, 8, 9, 10 trailers for the movie itself.
Mhm.
One of them kind of give away the plot, but you got to be paying attention. The best thing to do is see the movie. See the movie.
That Keon made. Remember the one?
Jordan
The
Peele.
one when he went to the dark place. What's it called?
Get Out.
Yeah, Get Out. It's probably like Get Out.
Matter of fact, the producers, or I believe it was the producer of Get Out, made this movie.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I kind of heard that too. At the same
Yeah.
time. Well, we
Check it out.
we might check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, let me know. And hopefully we can do this again. I'm just gearing up, getting started and building my so-called brand. But what I do with Get Ready is I call Get Ready an intelligent response to a historical problem. And if you know anything about one of my favorite leaders, Malcolm X, you would understand what that saying means. Okay. Because there's some issues going on in the country that it's time for us to get ready. If nothing else, understand what's happening in the country. Understand that history repeats itself. And if you don't understand that, you're going to see yourself in a situation you couldn't believe yourself to be in. And a lot of people will say, no, man, that's a lot of gloom and doom. But actually, if historically, I can prove everything I just said.
One thing,
totally different program, but I can definitely do it.
well, one thing is for sure, the playbook, the play-by-play book that was done in the 60s and 70s are being played again by the Republican, even though it's by Joe Esquire. But they're playing the same game, the same techniques, the same way. Ain't changed.
Oh yeah, Jim Crow
Well,
is
see,
coming back with
that's
it.
the problem. That's the problem. And again, I won't get too deep in that. I tell you what, I'll send you an invitation for a political program. I'll give you a couple of topics we can jump on, especially an update as to what's going on down there in Georgia with trying to get around these voter repression laws they put in place. Would love to have some time with you guys to talk about what's going on there, particularly as well as the programs that you have going on with young people. You heard me say that part of the KCOG, the OG is the opinionated grandpa. I now have great grandbabies.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So my vision extends a little deeper into the future, if you now understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
just for the fact that I had the pleasure to be on the planet
Oh,
to
he's
meet
breaking up.
my great grandbabies, you know.
He
So,
doesn't.
so with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Uh-oh. I think oh Lord.
We still see you, but you broke up a minute ago.
Yeah, my internet is fading out on me. I do apologize for that, but I was getting ready to sign off. I really appreciate you guys taking the time
Welcome.
out.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And we will be in touch again. We will do this one more time, okay?
All right,
All
man.
right.
You take care. Be at peace up there, bro. Take care
You
of the
too,
little
brother.
one.
Thank
All right.
you, and thank you so much for joining me. Y'all have a good evening.
All right.